What's up, guys? Spenny. It's the holiday season, and I'm feeling very generous, so I'm going to give libs what they've always wanted: an arrest of a J6er. That's the number one things that libs want. They want their fellow Americans who went to a peaceful rally to be thrown in prison for wearing a red hat. And I will tell you right now, yes, I want a J6er arrested. The terrorists of J6 must be arrested. And I mean that in my heart. And what I mean by that actually is the one person on January 6th that actually committed a crime, like a true crime, a violent crime, and behaved like a terrorist. That would be, of course, the pipe bomber. Now libs go, we don't want to talk about that. Why not? I thought this was like the MAGA bomber. Isn't this the point? Like, look at these clearly FBI training pipe bombs that were placed in these easy to find locations with 60-second kitchen timers on them the night before to explode 18 hours later. Does that look like an 18-hour timer to you? How the hell was this operation supposed to work? It wasn't, obviously. The whole thing's a farce. It's obviously a Fed op. We've known this for years. We're able to see the pipe bomber wave at a passing Capitol Hill police car. The police car honks. What up, Stan? Yeah. We're able to watch videos like this of Kamala Harris being marched right past the pipe bomb. Clearly part of the op. We're able to see the Secret Service agents, when they discover the pipe bomb, finish their Wawa hoagies, finish their burgers, and then let little children walk by the pipe bomb, and a dude walking his dog, and a train run. Nobody cared. No urgency. Of course, these pipe bombs, this was placed by a MAGA bomber, right? Obviously, that's the thing. This guy was MAGA, a big Trump supporter, right? I mean, don't take into account the fact that no Trump supporters like really ever act violently ever. There's something exclusively of the left. But nonetheless, this one guy went crazy, and he's big time President Trump supporter. And he set these pipe bombs to explode right when all the big MAGA march was supposed to be walking right by the street. So he's definitely going to bomb MAGA. Like, is the point you're trying to make? That he was trying to bomb his own side? You idiots. I'm so sick of this story. I'm so sick of the cover up, dude. I really am. And you can see it live on TV. We've used every ounce of our show and our program to scream that they need to release more evidence on this pipe bomber. Dan Bongino, very early in the administration, saying that they're closing in on suspects around the J6 pipe bomb. Okay. We had 2 pipe bombs planted on January 6th, and we were told that this was an insurrection, confident that we're closing in on some suspects. However, since this Bongino clip, we haven't seen much or anything from the FBI. We've seen some fighting with Thomas Massie over whistleblowers. We've seen Dan Bongino knock down the Blaze report as media reporting regarding persons of interest grossly inaccurate. And then, well, nothing else. They've released some of the new footage, certainly nothing close to the 39,000 videos that they allegedly have on the pipe bomber. This program has emphatically asked everybody that we can possibly get on the record, including the Capitol Police Chief at the time, about the pipe bomb, and will continue. But there has been a breakthrough, ladies and gentlemen, from Kash Patel in a recent interview with Catherine Herridge, where he gives the most up-to-date reporting on where the FBI is on this, saying that they are going to be releasing something very, very soon, and that there have been major recent breakthroughs on the pipe bomber. We're going to obviously wait and see the work. We're going to have to check the work there, but that's encouraging. Here we go.
In a recent cable news interview with Fox, you said to stay tuned about the January 6th pipe bomber case. Are there new developments we can discuss?
There are new developments. Can we discuss them? Not at this time, but I think you'll be hearing from us soon on it.
Are you closer to making an arrest?
When we took over the FBI, we knew there was a renewed interest in a lot of cases of great public importance. And of course, this one, where it was alleged that someone went to the United States Capitol grounds and planted a bomb to possibly blow up then Vice President Kamala Harris or other Republicans and other Democrats on Capitol Hill, was one we felt important enough to redouble our investigative tactics. And that's what we've done. And like we did in the Comey case, when we made presentations in court, when the American public finds out the presentations we will be making, if we get to a judicial decision, then they will see how much was missed in this case and what we have done. And I hope the American public will realize our commitment to putting out as much information as we can, when we can, on cases of great public importance.
There's been a lot of media reporting about the pipe bomb case recently. Have there been any significant breakthroughs for the FBI in recent days?
Yes.
Of course, I'd like to have a little bit more, but can you share any more? Do you expect that there will be a charge before the end of the year?
My job is to protect the integrity of the investigation, and I know that causes a lot of backlash from some sectors of the online community, but I'd rather speak through our casework in public and be able to assure the American public that we are delivering actual accountability than just sit here and tell you,
Okay.
I think we're going to get them.
Well, that's good. It's the most that we've heard Kash say on this subject, well, really ever, frankly. It is critical to the American people. I know there's a lot of big things going on right now, but this is a critical point of importance. Obviously, probably 99% of the country wants you to find the pipe bomber. Libs, independents, right-wingers. We all want you to catch this terrorist and expose what was really going on here, because, like, obviously someone's lying. And we believe it's the feds, and we believe that wholeheartedly. And Kash Patel gets, of course, that little look in his eye and says that they really do have something here. Well, I mean, be a ridiculous thing to say if you have nothing, and it's going to get you in big trouble. So I guess we'll see. Show us the work. Julie Kelly saying, Kash says new developments in J6 pipe bomb case include breakthroughs in recent days. Maybe the extra and added attention, a lot of it from this channel on this subject, has led to proper breakthroughs, or maybe just given the proper motivation and incentives from the perspective of the public about this issue, and it's now come to a head. That's good. I see it as an absolute win. Something I see as an absolute loss for us has been obviously the Epstein saga. Not because it implicates Trump, and Trump needs to be deported or whatever, Trump needs to go to Guantanamo Bay. Not because of that, but because it's just been mismanaged. That's all. It's a PR operation. It's an op that has been run on the Trump administration. That's what Epstein always was, and now this is what he is in death. A filthy op. I'm not saying that not to release it all. Everybody who's followed this channel forever knows that I want and wanted and still want full transparency, all of the files forever. Even the victims, survivors, whatever, even they are all saying, like, release all the files. We don't care if our names are in them. Just release them all. Good. But the inability to properly handle this issue has led to PR crisis after PR crisis after PR crisis for the administration. And so Kash's answer on this remains tough, because they're like, well, we're just going to release what's legal even after the House voted for them to release all of the documents. He says that and then he puts all of it on the Epstein estate and says this is an estate issue. The Epstein estate is actually withholding all of the documentation. There you go.
On the Epstein Files Transparency Act has a very tight deadline, 30 days to produce unclassified records. Will the FBI meet the 30-day deadline?
Well, we are working with our partners at the Department of Justice to produce, as we've always committed to producing, what we can lawfully, legally produce. And we will continue to meet those metrics, reminding the public that there are court orders in place, protective orders, and orders to seal in place that legally prohibit the disclosure of information related to any investigation when there's a court order of that fashion. So we're working with DOJ to say if we can produce anything more.
As FBI director, will you commit to as few blacked out sections or redactions as possible?
We always do. We have in our productions to Congress, which have been historic to this year, and we'll treat every matter in the same fashion while also upholding always victims' rights. Victims' rights in any case, whether it's President Trump's case, this case, or any case, the victims' rights statutes are preeminent, and we will protect those victims at all costs.
President Trump told your boss, Attorney General Pam Bondi, to look into the relationship between Jeffrey Epstein and Democrats, including former President Bill Clinton. Is the probe limited to Democrats? or will you follow the facts wherever they lead?
We'll just follow the facts. It's pretty simple for this FBI.
This administration campaigned on releasing the Epstein files. What do you say to Americans who are skeptical that there will be actual justice under a Trump administration?
Look at the work of this FBI. To date, in the 9 months that I've been on this job, we've arrested 30,000 people, 25,000 of which have been violent felons. That is double increase from year to date from the same time period last year. We have taken on our priorities in counter-espionage work to an increase of 35% more arrests year to date alone. On the drug front, we've seized 1,900 kilograms of fentanyl. That is a 35% increase from year to date last year. That's just the work of this FBI. We found 5,400 and identified 5,400 children, missing children. That is a 17% increase from this time, same time period last year. These are just a few examples of how committed we are to working the criminal cases for the American people so everyone gets treated the same.
So more charges are possible in the Epstein case?
Based on the new referral, we'll take a look at that and see what evidence comes. But there's an important distinction. The information that the government possesses versus the information that the Epstein estate possesses. Those are two separate boxes of information. And the Epstein estate has not been willing to share information with the U.S. government. And so even though we've requested them to do so.
Okay.
This has led to headlines like this: FBI working with DOJ to see if they can produce anything more from the Epstein files. It's going to be a bad day if they don't have anything, right? If they release zero things after all that. But that's the point. That's the point of this op. It's very, very frustrating op. It's very frustrating to have watched myself as I've seen one of the major rallying cries of the right inverted and flipped around on the Trump administration and used as a weapon, even though it is Democrats who have so much to hide in these Epstein documents and releases. It is them who should be ashamed. And now they are able to effectively use Epstein as a weapon against the right, even though it is, well, certainly not Donald Trump or the right that is implicated in this. Epstein was a Democrat, and he worked almost exclusively with Democrats and the biggest funders of Democrats. And so we should be all over this. This should be our issue. The left has turned it into their issue. And it makes me frustrated and furious, in fact. But anyway, what do you think of these answers? Got to tell you, I really like zooming in on the J6 pipe bomber one. That would be a wonderful thing to get answers on that. I don't know where it's going to go. I don't know. I have my instincts. I say them out loud, but I have no idea who or what this individual actually was. We've covered all available reporting, but I like that answer. I mean, it seems like they're getting somewhere, and I'd love to see those results, obviously. Here's sort of the non-answer answer on Charlie Kirk and the assassination. This I completely understand. They're awaiting trial, but I'm sure this won't satisfy people. Obviously. Here's Kash on CK and whether there was foreign involvement. Clip, 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 clip.
On the Charlie Kirk assassination investigation, you testified recently that more than 20 people were on the Discord chat related to the suspect, Tyler Robinson. Mm-hmm. Have you spoken to those people? Is it now a larger universe of 20 people?
Well, so with the Charlie case, it's a matter that is being led by the state authorities in Utah because it is a homicide investigation that is being prosecuted by the state. So us as the FBI are partners and part of that prosecution team. We're not the lead, and it's very much ongoing. So there is a lot of legal process being doled out, and we are committed to issuing every piece of legal process and search warrant that we can to talk to absolutely everyone and anyone who had anything to do with the assassination of my friend. And we're going to continue to do that and also honor the prosecutor's wishes in how we do that and what we release publicly.
Respecting that it is an ongoing investigation, is there any evidence of foreign involvement? Is there any evidence that Tyler Robinson had help?
Again, that will be spoken through by the prosecutors. If I, as the FBI director, commented on that right now in any way, shape, or form, that would hurt their case. And the worst thing that can happen is the individual who's charged and has his day in court down the road is if we, the FBI, or another law enforcement agency improperly commented on evidence and gave the defense an unfair advantage during the trial.